We're now joined by Jamil Jaffer. He is the founder and executive director of the National Security Institute and the former associate White House counsel to President George W. Bush. Jamil, good to have you with us. So big moves announced by NATO. And as we heard from the president there, the U.S. is expanding its footprint across Europe. What do you make of this so-called overhaul by the alliance and these plans by the U.S.?
Well, look, this is really critical, the situation here, Joe. What's going on now is that the U.S. has agreed to bring Finland and Sweden into NATO, along with all the NATO allies. We're also deploying significant new forces to places like Poland and Romania, making some of these forces permanent, which is a critical change. And this builds on a lot of the other deployments we've made on the eastern flank of NATO to respond to this Russian aggression. So in a lot of ways, what the Russians planned to have happen, an easy takeover of Ukraine, has now turned into an expansion of NATO right up to Russia's borders and an increase of the U.S. and allied footprint along the Russian border and the eastern flank of NATO. Critically important moves for the alliance, but a very big challenge now for Russia.
Let's talk about Russia's response here to this. I mean, President Putin had said that Russia never had any problems with these nations. They were never under any threat. But he did say if military infrastructure is deployed there, Russia would have to respond in kind. Does NATO membership in any way actually make these countries more vulnerable because of a response like that from Russia?
Well, look, I think the reality that we've seen is that all of these countries that are not in NATO are vulnerable because Russia feels free, has an open hand to go across the border and invade sovereign countries without any, thing preventing them. And so as a result, bringing them into NATO protects them because they realize, they understand, and Russia realizes that there's now a collective security agreement to respond if Russia crosses the border. So I don't think it makes things more dangerous. Certainly, it raises the stakes for Russia, which will now feel like it has to respond on the border of those countries. But I think it protects them writ large from Russian aggression going forward, assuming we can maintain that collective defense commitment that is at the heart of NATO, that's kept NATO so strong for these many years since the end of World War II.
Jamil, I have a question about what's Russia's ultimate goal here. Yesterday, the director of national intelligence, Avril Haines, said Putin still wants to capture most of Ukraine, but is unlikely to achieve that anytime soon because of Russia's military capacity. Do you agree with that assessment, or do you think Russia right now is really mostly focused just on the Donbas region, and that's the goal?
You know, I do think Director Haines is exactly right. I was actually at the event sponsored by the Silverado Politics Center at Google, where Avril Haines, Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco, talked about these very issues with Olivia Gazis. And look, the key thing here to note is that the Russians have long had these aspirations for Ukraine. We saw them first go into Crimea, a few years ago. They're now built on that by going to Donbas. They tried to make a push towards Kyiv. Ukraine has successfully pushed them back. Now they're going to take this additional land. They're going to stick it out. They're going to build this land bridge between Crimea and the eastern provinces they've obtained. They're going to try to get that port there on the Black Sea. And then their ultimate goal over years now will be to continue this expansion in Ukraine and potentially look at other nations. That's why this expansion in NATO is so important. That's why doubling down on the U.S. commitment and really responding to Russia aggressively and deterring further aggression is critical for us and our alliance.
Jamil Jaffer, thanks so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.